That's what it is.
All right, so reggae music, has a whole lot of different spaces and places, right? And most times when we talk to reggae personalities, it's the artist that promotes that's promoting the business ahead of everybody else. Because everybody see the singers and the DJs and all of that stuff. And even sometimes you'll see the actual selector, But you were on a different kind of track, and I'd love for you to, aside from your singing and your dancing career, tell us what was that track? Why would we call you the Don of all Dons of reggae, the Columbus of reggae music? Why would they call you that?
Well, I have borne a lot of names. Yes. Because I wear about 10 caps. Yes. Right, in the industry, I actually started out first managing the Mighty Diamonds in 1976. Oh. Right, when they were just signed to Virgin Records. Oh. Right. So I came down to Jamaica and I realized they were all my schoolmates and some of my Boy Scouts. The lead singer, Tabby Diamond, was a member of my Boy Scout troop.
My condolences to you and family.
Yeah, and then and the other two, right, were members of Boys Town, Scout troop. So we would meet at parades and things. So we were like a family getting together. And they were just about the hottest, roots group at the time.
Oh boy.
Right. So I came down to Jamaica, signed them up for a show in New York that my friend Ken Williams was doing a big concert at Hunter's College.
Ken Williams was on air, right?
He was working at WLIB radio at that time. And he was a promoter at the same time. So he was doing concerts in and around the tri-state area. So he had this big concert at Hunter's College and he wanted the Mighty Diamonds to be the headliner. So I went down, signed them, brought them up to New York, and they made a great impact. Yes. Came back to Jamaica. Richard Branson came to Jamaica, met with us, and then he said he wanted us to come over to do a tour of the UK.
The same Richard Branson here, right?
Yes, the same one that earned Virgin Record. I knew him from he was 21 years of age when he was just a young boy. Yes. Right? He's my very good friend, We have a lot of things in common now. We keep in touch with each other, right. And then I took them to the UK, right, that tour, and I put the Revolutionaries Band from Channel 1, which had Sly Dunbar, Ansel Collins, Light Parks, everybody. And we went over to the UK and we toured the UK, right, with Roy as our opening act. And we toured all around the UK. But we had an experience that we'll never forget. Richard wanted to, just like how Bob Marley was Chris Blackwell wanted Bob Marley to break big into with the rock groups. Yeah. Well, Richard Branson had something similar. So he booked us on a rock show, right? We had a lot of rock artists and punk rock groups was on. The headliner for that concert was a brother named Johnny Rotten and the Sex Pistols. Right? So we were one of the acts built on that show. And I tell you something, it's the first time I've ever experienced what I'm going to tell you happened. Yes. The minute the MC introduced us and the Diamonds run out and say, Natty Dread will never run away. Natty Dread will never run away. My God, I said, Marcus Garvey, prophesy, say, my God, I say, eggs and tomatoes start throw at us. The people them start to pelt us with eggs and tomatoes. One time I think they was going to make omelette out of us.
So that was in this guts or happy?
No, hear what happened now. These people are punk rockers. They come for your punk music.
Yes.
And they might hear some Natty Dread will never run away. And Marcus Garvey prophesied, say, this is not what they come to hear. So they were throwing eggs and tomato at us. I was like a wide receiver. It's a good thing I watched American football, I was running from one side of the stage to the other, catching eggs and tomatoes. And I remember a tomato lick Ansel Collins, our keyboard player, right across him, John, splatter over the keyboard. It looked red.
Oh my God.
And everybody wanted to run off the stage. And Sly shouted to us and said, no, we're not moving. We're going to give them some rhythm under them shot.
Yes.
And Sly started to do some roll and thing, man, and so on. And after a while, we see them stop throw, right? And those on the right, I throw to those on the left. I tell them must stop, and those on the left, I tell them throw on the right. And then they stop throwing now, and everybody started to jump and prance and things like that and so on. So we actually won them over within our performance that we there. But it was a scary moment in the first part of it, you know.
Yes.
So even
because they're all whites. They're all white people. They're all white people.
Yes, it's pure white people.
Yes.
Pure white people. If you ever Google Johnny Rotten and the Sex Pistols, you know the kind of audience that came to those. These are hippies. These are people that crazy, do a kind of crazy thing. One guy on stage drop his pants and piss on the next guy. You know, these are the kind of craziness that go on because it's a rock festival.
Yes.
You know, and it's a punk rock festival.
Yes.
You know, and it was a great experience for us because we never see that yet. You know, we were scared hell, you know, but we were able to overcome it, you know.
That's nice to hear. That's nice to hear. That's
in
nice
the end, you know, and
so Richard with Richard Branson, you only had the Mighty Diamonds, or you had other groups with him?
No, well, on that tour, we had that, but eventually they signed a lot of groups. U-Roy was signed to Virgin Records. UB40 was signed to Virgin Records. Janet Jackson eventually signed to Virgin Records. But this guy, Richard Branson, was just a nice little young guy. He used to ride a bike, one of the quickly bike. And he just dressed in his slippers and a tank top. And we passed him 3 days in a row over at Virgin Records, and didn't know him was the big boss. So we go straight to the office all the time. And one day we said to the general manager in the office, "Where is Richard? You know, we hear about this Richard Branson, you know." And he said, "You pass him every day." And we look outside, we see him sitting on the bike there. You know, and we went out.
And he's still like that.
Yeah, he was just an ordinary little guy, very nice, down to earth. Because I remember one thing he said to me before we left the UK, you know. He said to me, "I'm going to buy an island, you know." I said, "What do you mean, like Jamaica?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "How can you buy a country? This man is crazy." But he eventually bought on one of the Virgin Islands. You know, St. Bart's or St. Margaret, I can't remember what's the name. He bought one of the islands, the Virgin Island. And the next crazy thing I saw he was doing is going out around the world in an air balloon, the hot air balloon.
Yes. You
know, he was the first one to do that, you know. And then he moved up into trains, you know, and planes, you know. And I remember we spent a whole day at his house, way up in the mountains in the UK, where the grass come like cotton. You just lie down in the grass out in the back. He had 60-track mixing board studio inside his castle. The name of his castle was The Manor, right? Now we used a 4-track mixing board in Jamaica. So when we go and see a 60-track mixing board, you know, we were lost, you know. But he was very down to earth. And instead of putting us in a hotel, what he did, he rented an entire house, 3 floors, right? Where we had about 10 rooms in the house. And then he moved a mini supermarket into the house down in the lobby, right? It was stocked with food that every artist in England, Alton Ellis, Joseph Few, everybody who lived in England was coming by there every day and was having a 3-course meal. 2 cooks were there, you know, providing food. If you're a vegetarian, there's vegetarian food. If you eat this, that is there and everything like that, you know. So everybody there said, "Boy, the Diamonds, them all stocked with food." So everybody come there, man, and you know. So it was a great experience for us, you know. And